Well, looks like today I'm going to talk to you about what do you actually believe. Specifically, there's a verse in Romans chapter 8, verse 28 that reads, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Okay? Specifically that first part. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. It's simple enough, but do we actually believe that? Do you believe that through your life, and your obedience to a loving, living God, that things will work for your benefit? Well, I can tell you they do, but instead of just telling you that, let me give you an example. Okay? Um, and this example is kind of cool because it also applies another principle or another piece of scripture which is found in 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 9, which says, "Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you were called, so that you might inherit a blessing." Okay? We're supposed to be sons of peace. We're supposed to be peacemakers. Plus, literally, when people do us wrong, if we are kind and loving and bless them, okay, we are in turn blessed. Classic example. This happened to me yesterday. Um, I discovered a weed eater that I had bought about 3 months ago has been broken by a friend of mine, or by somebody that I was trying to help. Um, they broke it because, well, maybe they were angry that I wasn't going to let them stay as long as they thought they were entitled. You know, and that's just not a good thing. But the fact is, even though I was upset, I didn't lose control. I didn't try to retaliate or get ugly or, you know, basically break their stuff. Instead, I'm like, well, I guess it gives me an opportunity to try to take my own advice. Specifically, the whole, you know, repay evil for evil to no one. You know, don't, just because somebody does you wrong, don't do them wrong. Bless them instead, that you might inherit a blessing. In other words, it's an opportunity to be kind. It's an opportunity to show that you are different, you are changed, and there's a better way. See? That's what should distinguish you as a follower of Christ versus someone who just associates with Jesus. In other words, they know who He is, they read the Bible, they go to church every Sunday, but they don't, or find it hard to apply scriptural principle. You know, there's a big difference between someone who actually tries to live as a follower of Christ and somebody who just merely professes to be Christian. Okay? So what happened? What was the result of this? Well, if you believe Scripture, one, I'm supposed to get a blessing. Two, things are supposed to work towards my good. Well, in both counts, the next day, which is today, my wife went to Lowe's, took the weed eater with her, and not only did they swap it out without a problem, giving her a new one, it turns out they had a lot of problems with the old weed eater, and so they made some design modifications and things, and fixed some problems that I wasn't even aware of. So she brings home the new weed eater, and this is kind of cute. She forgets that I put a strap on there, and she didn't pull it off. Well, guess what? The new weed eater comes with a strap, and it's actually a nicer strap because it's got a carabine on the hook side that's easier to take on and off. So it works out better. And on top of that, the new one doesn't vibrate as much, so she can use it with ease. Whereas before, it used to shake the crap out of you, and it wasn't a fun thing to use. It did the job. It was powerful. It got it done, but it wasn't a joy to use. Okay, and on top of that, it was a little bit hard to start. Not massively, but it didn't quite crank over as easy as the new one. Anyway, long story short, I'm glad things turned out this way, because I don't want people to feel guilty that were involved with things, and things happen that's a little bit beyond their control. My wife wasn't happy that my stuff got broke, and I'm not happy either. And some other people weren't happy because they know the person who broke it, and makes them feel bad. Because they think that people should act better than that. They should know better than that. But the cool thing is they don't have to feel bad, because I know that they didn't do it, and that they don't. You can't be responsible for what other people do if they're not your children, and you didn't take them to raise. In this, things worked out really, really well, because had I not taken it back to Lowe's, or had my wife not taken it back to Lowe's, I would never know that it was defective in the first place. And I'd still be trying to use the old one, not really realizing that, yeah, they're not supposed to shake like that, and they're not supposed to start so hard, and yeah, they're supposed to do other things that one wasn't doing. It's one of those things. And the handle used to slide all over the place, and the new one, it grips real tight, and it's locks in there real good and secure, which is pretty awesome. It just comes to show you that little faith goes a long way, and God really does reward those who love Him. He really does. He causes everything to work for the benefit of those who love Him. And if the next time somebody does something crappy to you, don't respond in anger. Instead, respond in love. You might be surprised what happens. Well, may you all be blessed and bear fruit.